the competitiveness of girls in the community, and it separates us. It divides us definitely because there's a lot of ego out there, unfortunately. So it's not only dealing with guy trolls, but it's dealing with other girls that just hate on girls. Some girls don't like when they get all the attention, or other people get the attention and they want the attention, or a lot of girls play video games for attention. Let's
Exactly.
be
Right.
honest. I mean, they Sarah, Sarah. Um, I'm just looking at the chat, but yeah, I would say that we have to all just come together and realize that ripping each other apart is only going to separate us more, and we need to just come together and strengthen the girl community. Um,
Yeah, because if we all hate each other and we're all competitive against each other, that's just easier for other people to troll us. Like, if we're all united and like, fuck these motherfuckers,
Yeah.
then it's harder for them to like break through our wall. I think that more females need to be open to other females competing. They need to be more accepted. And that's one of the things that I learned in StarCraft 2 is that there's this whole community of girls that respect each other, that back each other up, and they don't talk shit to each other. I was like, what the fuck is this? No one's like swearing at this girl or anything. Like they're so nice to each other. And that's one thing I think that a lot of other girl communities can learn from is just to accept one another and take it what it is. These girls play these games too. These guys play these games too. Just play with them, whatever. To continue that question, Novia Star, do you want to end the question? And it would be, how can this pressure affect you in your gameplay? Or wait, did I start with you?
You did.
Okay, never mind, I lied. Okay, so we want to talk about how does this pressure vary from on land to online? And I'll start off with this, and then I'll go to Novia Star. For me, the pressure online is basically trolling. I experience it more in Counter Strike Source than I do in StarCraft 2. It's a lot more in Counter Strike Source. I barely ever noticed it in StarCraft 2 unless someone gets raged by the build that I do, because they don't know I'm a girl, so they just get raged in general. But for Counter Strike Source, I notice a lot more because I like to communicate. I'm one of those players that likes to talk a lot to let my team know where the bad guys are, and
Mhm.
to just communicate with whoever I'm playing with at if I'm playing at a certain site. And I notice it basically when I'm either pugging or when I'm in a match or a scrim and the other team knows I'm a girl. Online, I notice it a lot. I think it affects me more on LAN though than it does online, and I have experienced trolling on LAN, which I just kind of like ignore it. I'm like, whatever, you're a loser, and that's it. But it affects me more on LAN because the person's there, and you're like,
Right.
you're not supposed to talk shit to me in real life. What do you think you're doing? And so I just kind of like ignore it. I'm like, let me just turn on my Adele and like, fuck you guys, I'm listening to Adele. And I just like, so I try to zone out with music on land, like when I'm not competing, obviously. Just like listen to music, just get in my zone, and then go back. And when I'm in a match, try to focus as much as I can. Even though sometimes it's really hard because people do talk shit on land, which that affects me more than online. So if you're
I
ever
was
at a
talking
land,
shit. I'll admit it. I talk shit on land.
if you're ever at land and I'm there, do not fucking talk shit to me because I will smack you. I'm sick of this online shit talk. Okay, next. Novia Star, how do you have you been to a land before? And if you have, how do you deal with it first online or on land? And if you haven't, how do you deal with it either or if you've
Thank you.
competed?
I've only done LAN when it's come to me and my friends, and like you were saying, when it comes to me and my friends, we say some crazy things to each other, and like, oh, you just got beat by a girl, like what, like I can, but that's just in a friend sense. But when it comes to online play, um, it gets a little difficult, when I play online. I've been to tournaments online, and people, you know, they they pretty much just like do the same thing that I've been discussing in the past. Like, girls can't do this. There's no way you're a girl, and that's like the one thing that I deal with. Like, people are saying you're not a girl, you're just hacking, and like I can ignore it, of course, and I can pretend like I'm not a girl, or just ignore the fact and just continuously ignore them, and if I find it easier. But on competitive play, like, I just stay in my servers that I normally play in, and it's kind of sad that I have to do that kind of stuff, because I don't want to deal with shit.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Like, you either stay in your servers where your friends are at, or you just kind of ignore it. Let's start with, or let's go on, I guess, with Kurohashi.
Yep.
How does the pressure vary for LAN to online with you?
So obviously, pretty much I would assume for every girl, it's harder to deal with it on LAN because you are sitting in front of everybody. Everybody's looking at you. Everyone can see you.
Right.
Pictures are a lot different than being in person and actually meeting somebody. So, I mean, you really just have to use like the same strategies that you do online and just ignore everything because there's nothing else you can do. People are just going to be jerks.
Yeah.
And that's that. So, I don't know. Get over it, I guess.
Okay, Ish, how do you deal with pressure online versus LAN?
Well, I must agree with the other girls though. The pressure is more on the land part, 'cause since you get to see those people who you're competing with, and yes, those pictures, those videos that who are taking, and also I prefer playing against with my friends than with other guys, like guys that I don't really know, because at least I know that I'm already comfortable with these people rather than playing against with someone. But there was this one time though that a guy came up to me. I was in an internet cafe. A guy came up to me. He asked me to play 1v1 against him for StarCraft, and by that time I was actually playing Dota 2, so I haven't played StarCraft for a week. So I was like, okay. Then his friends were there, and then they were started cheering for him. So I was like, and I was like alone. So I'm like, oh, I'm alone. Like no one's cheering for me. Okay, okay, I have to do better on this game. So there, they started cheering for this guy, and eventually, I I was the winner. So and there were and his yeah, and so his friends were like, "Oh, seriously, man, you got defeated by a girl? Say what now? This and that." So I'm like, "Okay, I don't need cheerleaders. I can be myself." So there, I don't know, dealing with pressures when it comes to LAN, I must say, um, I'd rather be alone. Like, I don't want someone behind my back watching me play. And I don't want someone who keeps on taking pictures on me whenever I play, because it
Yeah.
makes me more feel like, oh, wait, I'm confused. I don't know what to do. Like, I would lost track on my game. So it's kind of disturbing. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely
There.
don't like when people are behind me, like, watching me play on LAN. It just
Yeah.
bugs me. Like, don't do it. I swear, don't fucking do it.
I know.
Okay, Sarah, how do you deal with the pressures on LAN versus online?
I drink a lot of coffee. Um, yeah, I do listen to music before, I guess, but I don't try to sit at my computer for very long. Like, I go walk around the LAN. I'll go to the bathroom and like just like I get really cold hands. I don't know if anyone else experiences that, but in LANs it's usually like really cold. So either I'm like washing my hands with really warm water just to like warm my hands up because I have like a problem with that. I don't know if any other people do that, but it just like makes me, if I sit down and like death match or practice too much beforehand, it's just I do worse. So I just try to at that point for me it's nothing I do is gonna improve my game. Like, so I just tend to try to focus on other things, and then when the match goes live, that's when I focus on the game. And I just, like I said, it's people take pictures of me, you're gonna, probably get bad angles of me. But yeah, adrenaline, that's a hard thing to deal with too, because like, your hands are shaking, and like with an FPS shooter, you're like have to be so precise with your mouse movements, and then you have your hands shaking and they're cold, and you're like, what am I doing? And so getting over that, I had an initial time when I remember my first like LAN, it was just really hard to stay steady. Um,
Yeah.
it's a lot different. There's so much more pressure. Um, in person, just sitting there, with a bunch of other people that are screaming, and you have so much more pressure on you from your own team sitting next to you. Like say that you die or you don't clutch a 1v3 online, it's like you can't see the disappointment of your team, but when you're looking over, you can really just see their disappointment. So it's
Yeah.
trying to focus on like a team environment, and I always like try to stay positive, stay always talking and keeping the positive momentum going on my team. So that's about it for
I
me.
definitely, I definitely know what you're talking about. I at LAN, I'm like stationary, like I'm staying at my computer this whole time.
I
I'm
know
walking
you. I think
around
you got up
like I'm
like four
afraid.
times when I was with
I'm
you.
like afraid of walking around. Like I'm afraid that like if I get up from my computer chair, I'm gonna like fall into this black hole and never return. Like I'm seriously like afraid. So I'll definitely have to try that if I ever land again. Hopefully I
Yeah.
will. I don't know right now, but I definitely, that's a good perspective of it. Like just get up, walk around, wash your hands, something like get away from the computer because I know that like I just sit there and I'm like
Your anxiety builds as you're
I
sitting
know
there.
like my
So
anxiety builds and I'm like shaking. I'm like bring it on,
if you go around and
motherfuckers, bring it
socialize,
on.
and
Like
talk to people, and then oh yeah, the match is gonna go live. Sit down, you're not building this like stress of like the match is gonna go live. You're going in there kind of fresh, just like oh
yeah,
gotta go, the match is gonna go live. And so sitting there and like oh death matching, aim map,
yeah,
just it
yeah,
doesn't
'cause
help
it just
me.
builds up. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try that next time. Uh, let's see. And how do you think you can overcome these pressures? Is there a way to overcome it, or do you think the best way is just kind of either dealing with it or doing the things that you just said? Novia Star, is it easier for you to deal with it, or is it easier for you to find a way to overcome it?
A little bit of both. Personally, I um, sometimes I do things. I troll back. Yeah, I troll back. Like I can be a ridiculous troll, just like these people can, and they can say certain things to me, and I can say it back, and just kind of leave them at a loss for words, you know, and just kind of I can they can be an asshole, and I can be a bitch. It can go one way,
Yeah.
or I can ignore it. It's very different responses of which that I've dealt with, but um, like I stay in where like I'm a higher up admin in the community that I'm part of. So as long as I stay where I'm comfortable at, it really definitely helps because they can't really say that much to me because they're gone. They're out of the server completely with a click of a button from my mouse.
Yeah.
So
I play for Counter Strike. I play on ESEA, and I also play for StarCraft 2. I just do quick matches. So I think it's easy. Like sometimes I'll just ignore it, whatever. But sometimes I think I find it fun to troll them back.
yeah,
I just troll them
exactly.
back. It's just the like it depends on what mood I'm in. Like sometimes I'll just be like, yeah, whatever, nerd, and then the other times I'll be like,
This one
yeah,
guy, yeah, like
like
this one
act
guy
like it did
trolling me, and he's like,
something.
I like to make these balloon guys, and I'm like, oh, do you zergling rush with your cannons? Like, it just gets ridiculous. Like, I will troll back and make them like wanna not know what to say anymore because I troll so hard. You come at me.
Okay, Kirahashi, what do you choose to usually just ignore it? I think you said you usually choose to ignore it rather than troll back.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If you let that stuff bother you, it's just gonna affect your skill level. That's
Yeah,
all. It's only gonna hurt you if
definitely.
you let it. So if you don't let it hurt you, then it'll be fine. And whatever, you can
Sorry.
just go on and game.
And have fun.
And
That's the
frag.
important part. Have fun and frag. Yeah.
Yep. So you just have to get over it. That's all there is. Because they're always just gonna be assholes all the time. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Exactly.